Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here coming at you with another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look here at the Masters of the Universe 80th anniversary for Mattel, He-Man and Skeletor. And these figures were designed after the retro figures, so they do not have the origins articulation. These are legit recreations of the vintage figures. And take a look at this packaging. This is amazing. I love this 80th anniversary Mattel logo there. Masters of the Universe, ages 6+. Yeah, let's go, baby. I am 6+. And here are the figures themselves. He-Man there. Looks really cool. Skeletor there. And let's take a quick look at the back of the box here. Look at that beautiful artwork there. Again, the 80th anniversary logo. Little write-up. Evil Skeletor ruthlessly schemes to take control over Castle Grayskull, but He-Man guards the safety of all Eternia. With his faithful allies at his side. Look at this. I love this. Beautiful, beautiful box art there. The vintage styled cell art here. Little scroll at the bottom celebrating 80 years of Mattel with Masters of the Universe. The eternal struggle of good and evil. With this vintage style He-Man Skeletor featuring classic power punch action and squishy heads. Look, they did the squishy heads on these. I love that. That is absolutely amazing. Oh, there's another little write-up over here. To celebrate 8 decades of play with Mattel, the world's most beloved toy company is reimagining a new wave of nostalgia for fans of any age and era. Be kind and rewind with this collection in honor of such a momentous milestone, available exclusively at Target. So yes, this was a Target exclusive, and I did just find it at Target. I legit thought that I missed out on this, because I think they came out like a couple of months ago, and I was on vacation, so they were not in the stores when I got back. But yeah, so I thought I missed out on this. The aftermarket, they're already in the aftermarket for over $100. But no, Mattel re-released them. I guess they had extra stock. So yeah, I went to my Targets and there they were. All right, let's open this up and see what we got. All right, so I opened up the ribbon here. Let's see what we got here. Open it up. Oh, look, the flap has the art. And there are the figures. That is awesome. And look, more of the vintage styled artwork here. Really, really cool with the He-Man here. Skeletor there. Again, Skeletor with the... Oh, look at the gate of Snake Mountain. Very cool. He-Man in front of Castle Grayskull. Awesome. Says this is removable, and it is. And here are the 2 figures. This is fantastic in the vintage styled card back. Oh, very cool. The He-Man on the back of this one, Skeletor on the back of that one. And this is collector friendly packaging. Look, it slides open. That's great. All right, let's take everything out and put it all out on the table there. All right, and here they are out of the box with all of their accessories, and I love it. This is so awesome. They look almost exactly like the vintage figures. They did color a few things, like his bracers. He's got both of them painted. And they did paint the detail on the boots. They painted Skeletor's toes. And they did give him some highlights in the blue. But this is very different from the initial pictures that they released of him, because the initial pictures, this was all like really light highlighted colors, and they listened to the fan feedback and they changed it because a lot of fans were complaining about that extra color there for no reason. So they did change it, and I'm really happy about that, because now it even though it is, you know, a little bit colored, like, it's really subtle now. So it does still look very faithful to the vintage figure. Here we have his purple is a little metallic-y, which is nice, but this is exactly the vintage styled Havoc staff. I will say my one and only complaint is the power sword. They did not do the vintage style power sword. They did the Origins power sword. It does still have the same, you know, play action feature where you put them together. That's nice. But I would have loved for them to have done the power sword in the vintage style. So that's really kind of my only critique. But it is obviously still beautiful. But it is the Origin sword design. It's not the vintage style sword design. But the Havoc staff is vintage style, and so is He-Man's battle axe. I love that they did the He-Man battle axe in the vintage style, and that's great. And also his shield. His shield is also in the vintage style, but they did a really nice, like, pearlescent, iridescent silver here. That looks really good, because in the vintage one, this orange is kind of cardboard, but you can see that they painted it. And on the inside, look at that. Nice little detail, a little extra detail. I'll compare that to the vintage shield, but I think that looks beautiful. And then it comes with the vintage style mini comics, and these are, this completes, if you have the Masterverse 40th anniversary He-Man and Skeletor 2-pack. That one had the first two He-Man and Skeletor comics, and then these were the next two He-Man and Skeletor mini comics done by Alfredo Alcala. So if you have this set and the 40th anniversary He-Man set, you now have all of the Alfredo Alcala mini comics, which is awesome. I love that. And now let's take a look at the figures themselves. Look at this. He-Man looks exactly the same. It's the same sculpt and everything. I love it. I'm so happy that Mattel redid this design. The orange is a little metallic-y, which is cool. And I love the fact that they actually painted his little wristbands now. The He-Man chest armor is a little different. It's also the metallic-y silver. And it's a little simpler, but it's awesome. It does look really good. And yes, he has the vintage style power punch. That's great. And the squishy rubbery head. That's great. Mattel did a fantastic job with He-Man. And now let's take a look at the Lord of Destruction Skeletor. I love the way they painted his face here. It's a really nice callback to the vintage figure, but they did really nice delicate touches in there. The purple in his harness is very close to the original one. They painted a little metallic blue in the details there, like I said earlier. His little red jewel there. And yes, the exact same sculpture as the vintage Skeletor. The legs, the toesies. Oh, they didn't do the rubber. They did do little pegs, which is fine. So you don't have to worry about that breaking. And take a look. He's got the power punch as well. But yeah, really cool. I think it has the date on there. Yeah, there it is, the 2025 date. Oh man, that's amazing. I am so glad to have these dudes. And I'm glad that, you know, I guess Target did have more and was able to put them back out. So I now have my vintage style He-Man and Skeletor. This is great. All right, let's put our weapons on and see what they look like compared to the vintage figures that I got. All right, so first up is He-Man here, and yes, as you can see, he is almost a one-for-one, body sculpt from the original figure. Obviously, the original figure's colors are obviously a little bit darker. He's a little bit more tan here, where he's a little more pale in this one. And as you can see, the grays that they use for his weapons versus his everything here is flat gray. And everything here is kind of that silvery metallic-y gray. And look at the chest harness. You can see the details there, like the way it's sculpted. Like this one is much more simpler, but I think it looks really, really good. I think Mattel did a really, really nice job bringing him back. And yeah, like these are just so that you can see, obviously if you've ever had He-Man from the past. So this is the power sword of the original He-Man, and then this is the power sword of Origins He-Man. And yes, it is a nice callback, but I just really kind of wanted it to kind of have like this look where the tip is rounded, and just to like really be faithful to the original sword design. I think that would have been fantastic. But as you can see, the shield design is faithful, and the axe design is faithful. They just gave it that metallic silvery finish, but yeah, it's really, really good. And you can see that they colored He-Man's bracer here, where this one does not have the color, and this one does have the color. So that's the big difference. And obviously, like I said, these figures now have pegs to hold the legs, where this one had the rubber band, so it's broken. I had to glue it. So now I don't have to worry about a rubber band over here breaking over time. And on the shield, as you can see, this is like cardboard paper that's on the inside. And over here, it's just plastic with a paint mold over it. But I love it. It's such a very cool, faithful recreation of He-Man. All right, and here we have the Lord of Destruction Skeletor. And again, as you can see, the same design. The power sword, the vintage style power sword versus the origin style power sword. The Havoc staff, one is metallic, one is a flat purple. And the rest of him is... yeah, the colors are obviously slightly different, but the mold is exactly the same, and that's what's beautiful about these. Like, it really, really calls back to these vintage style figures amazingly. And yeah, I think it just looks so good. They did paint his boots completely here, whereas in the vintage one, it was just half painted. I don't know why that was. But they painted it completely, and they painted his toenails. And again, like I said, he's got that little highlight purple there. Really, really cool. Amazing, amazing recreation of these figures. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this look at the 80th anniversary Mattel Masters of the Universe He-Man and Skeletor figure. I love it. It looks... this was what I wanted from the Origins line. I know like a lot of people wanted the updated articulation, and I'm okay with it. But really, for me, like, if they were to do this, man, I would be so happy for the rest of the line. That would be amazing to me. But the other thing that I like is that the colors are not so crazy bright like the Origins colors. I do like these colors. They're still slightly off from the originals, but they're much better than what the Origins were. I think the Origins colors were just way too bright. So that's why I didn't really get into the Origins. because even though, yes, they were a cool callback, I just think their colors were just so bright that it just did not feel like the Masters of the Universe figures to me. They just kind of felt like knockoffs. The Masterverse I liked better because at least that was a complete reimagining. So changing the colors didn't bother me all that much. Where they had like really bright colors or dark colors. That didn't bother me all that much because they were like a complete reimagining of the figures, and I like that better. But when you're trying to make the figures call back to the origin, like the original figures, I would like the colors to be at least closer to the original figures than just really crazy bright colors. But again, they're also trying to sell this to kids, guys. Like, we as adult collectors can't be greedy. Come on. But that just would have been my preference. But I love these figures. I'm glad to have them, and I'm gonna put them back in their box and keep them displayed for a while within the box, because I think they're just really cool. And on top of it, I do have my original vintage figures out, so I will leave them where they're at. But I love these figures. I'm so happy that Target's got them back in stock. I'm so glad that I was able to get them without having to do aftermarket shenanigans. And I'm really, really happy. All right. If you feel that I've earned it, please give me a like and subscribe. And let me know how you feel about Mattel maybe getting into the vintage line. Drop a comment. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye now.